welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Now, it's a Friday. We don't want you getting started with your weekend yet. No Cinco de Mayo partying yet. We want you to stay with us in this wonderful discussion we're going to have about finding your purpose in life, picking your purpose in life, however you want to say it, all about your exact purpose in life. That's what we're going to talk about today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Hi, Jerry.
Hey, Debbie.
It's
Friday. And we might want to mention Debbie and I, along with Sherry Brownring and Dave Palmer of Guadalupe Radio Network, have been hosting the Station of the Cross Pledge Drive all of this week. So if we seem a little bit loopy today, there's been no inhaling of helium. Or actually, though, anywhere I go near where I live now, I can pretty much get high because the marijuana plants are opening up. Literally.
Wow,
I mean, when I come home from the gym, Debbie, I go around one corner and I smell it every time.
Wow.
Now, for those of you asking the question, Jerry, how do you know what marijuana smells like? It's a fair question, but I was in high school once too, okay?
But, Jerry, I saw a documentary about your area exactly and all the dispensaries and everything that is popping up like crazy.
I mean, I see a billboard for a new dispensary. Actually, I saw one for a cannabis boutique was the one, the new billboard.
Is that what they named it?
Oh, it looks so mainstream. You know, they would fit perfectly next to a McDonald's billboard or whatever kind of billboard. So, yeah, it's we got I don't know.
Times are changing.
They are changing.
I'm glad I'm the age I am. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, so Jerry, today's discussion, this is a very interesting discussion, and we're already getting feedback about it because, I don't know if a lot of folks, you probably know this, in the self-help section about finding your purpose in life, it is just the most frequented area of a bookstore, if you can say that, or online bookstore, because we don't even have, bookstores anymore. We have them all online. But you know what? Interesting, though, I pulled this up just before the show, Jerry. Do you remember the book, The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren?
Rick Warren,
okay.
Yeah, sure.
When it first came out in 2007, it topped the charts at 30 million copies, okay? Then It was re-released, Jerry, in 2019, and it says 32 million more were sold in 85 languages. So, okay, so now I'm going off of, one of these online sites. So let's just assume, okay, millions of people grabbed this book. What does that tell us? It tells us, okay, that folks are eager to find out what their purpose is in life. We are not here by chance. We're not here by accident. We do have a God-given purpose. Do you know what yours is? How did you find it? How did you pick it? Has it changed? Has it evolved throughout your life? You don't have to just stay with one. I heard Deacon Harold Brooks-Sivers talking about it this morning on Morning Glory. He was talking about it. It's not just one talent that we've been given. We maybe have been given several talents. And do you use all the talents? And very interesting, Jerry. So I can't wait to see what this discussion produces.
Here's the phone number if you'd like to get involved, 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. Do you feel like you nailed it? You found your purpose that God created you for in life. Maybe you're still wondering what that is, and you want to call in and just express that, and we can chat about that for a minute or two. Debbie and I certainly can't give you any concrete direction. God's got to do that. But if you have found your purpose in life, if you feel like you're in your life's niche, so to speak, what is that, and how does that fulfill you? 833-288-3986.
And Jerry, I'd like to share if I can, because, you're talking about how you find your purpose. Since I was 4 years old, I was trained in golf. Okay. And everybody helped me get to a place where I was just about ready to be a professional golfer. Okay. And that would have been great. I'm sure maybe I could have, with the gifts and talents of that, I could have glorified God. But it just didn't quite, I wasn't fully on board. Okay. And then I got into the service industry, hotel, restaurant management. And I actually was very good at it. And I loved it. I loved being around people. But I still felt unfulfilled. And it wasn't until I got into ministry, Jerry, in full-time ministry, because as a teenager, I was in a little bit of ministry. But as full-time ministry in 1989, I knew I was home. I knew I was home, whether it's ministry in the classroom, at the church level, at the diocesan level, on the radio, on television, whatever. If it's ministry, I'm in. I'm in. And I really believe in my heart of hearts that for me, I will always be doing this. I take my last breath. As a matter of fact, when I received one of my 25-year awards from Bishop Olmsted, our bishop here in the Diocese of Phoenix, I said to him, "Well, Bishop, I'm retiring." He goes, "No, you're not. You're never going to retire." I said, "You're right, Bishop. I'll probably be ministering at a restaurant somewhere, or in a bar, or in somewhere, where I can meet people and talk about God." He started laughing, and it's true. Would you say the same thing? I'm gathering from knowing your history in Catholic radio and everything you've done. You're the same way, right?
Yeah, I will happily share that, but we have a couple of open phone lines still at 833-288-3986. Do you feel like you fit in whatever circumstances you're in now? It could be your job. It could be things that you do on a volunteer basis on the spiritual life, a little bit of ministry. Have you found that passion? What drives you? Call and share with us what drives you to do what you are currently doing right now. And if something you're currently in, whether it's your work or extracurricular things, it's just not feeling right to you, maybe you haven't found that special place that God has for you. But let's have a conversation about it. 833-288-3986. Yeah, I've shared this before, Debbie. I was probably 14, 15 years old. I got pictures of it somewhere. I was playing DJ. How some little boys play Mass, like they're celebrating Mass. And I had a turntable and a Marantz cassette recorder, and I hung the microphone over the top of the thing that held the record player. Yeah, record player. That goes way back. I'm sorry for those of you who are under 45. So I was playing DJ when I was 15, and in high school I played all the boys' sports. But a friend and I, we went to North Beach High School, so we started NBBC, North Beach Broadcasting Company, and we videotaped and did the play-by-play for girls basketball and volleyball and stuff like that. So this was in my blood from a very young age. I went to a one-year broadcasting school. I got my first job in radio on May 18th, 1980. So in 15 days, it's going to be 39 years for me. So I can say what I'm doing is exactly what God created me to do. Can you folks say that or not? Either way, let's have a talk about it. 833-288-3986. Hurry up and call before the lines fill up.
The wisdom of Mother Angelica.
Have you ever been so grief-stricken and so heartsick that you can't see God? You can't see God in the tragedy. You can't see God in that cross. You can't see God in that situation. Why? You're enveloped in that grief. You're enveloped in fear. And God is out the window. You don't see Him standing right next to you.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.
Bishop Robert Barron.
Tolkien has reached out to, Nordic culture and literature and Icelandic sagas and all sorts of things. He learned a lot about the good, the true, and the beautiful from his study of pre-Christian cultures. He used narrative forms that were accessible to the culture. He adapted that to evangelical purposes. So that shows you that flexibility. It shows you a certain creativity in the evangelical art. He did not proselytize. Rather, he very delicately and indirectly and cleverly evangelized through the imagination, so that someone taking in these great stories of Tolkien or his friend C.S. Lewis, they're going to say, "Oh yeah, I get that. I recognize that pattern." So that finally when they hear the gospel, they'll say, "Yeah, I understand that. I learned that from The Lord of the Rings. I learned that pattern from the Narnia stories." And that was the genius of those fellas.
The people you know and trust are on EWTN.
Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on a Friday. Thanks for joining us on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. And many of these other stations, the affiliates you're listening to right now, also carry so many other EWTN programming. Some of them carry all of them. And one of those shows you want to listen for on many of these stations is Pro-Life Weekly. Man, do we need a show like that or what?
We sure do.
Yeah, Catherine Hadro does a great job with her information and her interviews, Debbie. When I see it, I learn things that you don't never get to hear about in the mainstream media. You might hear about on News Nightly, but you definitely hear about these stories on Pro Life Weekly. So that's Sundays at 10 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on EWTN. And Debbie, I'm going to throw it back to you, but I just wanted to make this, clarify something here. Debbie and I both share that we each feel like that we are exactly where God wants us. We don't share that to make ourselves look, better than anybody else, or for you to say, oh man, they got it all together. No, we don't. We have it far from all together.
And you're not going to get rich on what we're doing. Go ahead.
Yeah, right. Well, it's just the point that we have that sense, that peace of mind and that peace in our heart, that when we get up in the morning, put our feet on the floor, this is what God not only created us to do, but has prepared us to do. So if you feel that way about your life, let's talk about that, because you're going to inspire a lot of people. Debbie, there are tons of people who get up in the morning and go, oh, do I have to do this again?
Right.
And we don't want to live like that. We want to get up in the morning and say, I see the light of day coming in. I say, praise you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. And I open with my morning litany and my prayers. And I just am grateful to God for that, and for you too, Debbie. And so I want to hear what our listeners have to say.
Well, and Jerry, you make a good point. And I only brought up the thing about not getting rich is because, you can go out into corporate America. You can go and do the work that you specialize in, and you can make, a lot of money. And that's great. You can provide for your family and everything else. Most people that jump into ministry, they're not doing it to get rich. They're doing it because you feel very fulfilled. And I just want people to understand that ministry is, I always call it, you catch the bug, the ministry bug. You can't get to stay away from it. I mean, I've been offered to go back into the hotel restaurant industry. And I looked at it and I thought about it for a second and I went, no, I'm going to stay here. Because you're right. You just feel planted. You feel like you're doing something that, you can get up in the morning and feel good about. And so that's why I encourage everybody, if you're working in a job, like as a doctor or a lawyer or anything else, a teacher, also get involved in ministry at your local parish. Please do that, because it's so rewarding. It takes care of another part of you that maybe longing to help other souls. Would you agree with that, Jerry, that you could do that? Most people could jump into ministry at some level?
Yeah, be an extraordinary minister of Holy Communion, a lector, something like that, to visit the poor, teach the youth group, what have you. But our topic today is certainly broader than that. It can be just your job. Maybe you work with your hands. Do you feel like you were created to do that? One of my brothers, Debbie, Joe, he is a master woodworker and creator of all kinds of things, and he's self-taught. And I look at him and I go, God gave him those gifts, those talents. He is doing what the Lord created him to do. And we want to hear from you, the Take Two family, today. Do you feel like in your career, do you feel like your career is a vocation? Maybe that's one way to look at it.
I love that. Your career is your vocation. Yeah, and you can make it. You can always glorify God in the work that you do. 833-288-EWTN. That's 1-833-288-3986. Don't get started with your weekend yet. We need you to call in. And Jerry, I got a text message that cracks me up. I mentioned that we really don't have, brick and mortar bookstores anymore. We have online stores, and one of our loyal listeners texted in and said, "You're right. The local bookstore right in my area closed. Mine too. Did yours ever? Do you still have like Barnes and Noble and stuff? So all of ours are closing. It's so sad."
I don't know. I hardly ever go to the mall, even at Christmas. I know there was a Catholic bookstore in this area, and I know they're no longer in business. That's really one of the hardest book and gift shops to operate nowadays, is a Christian, or especially a Catholic Christian one, because like you said, you got Amazon and so many ways to get books online and stuff. So I feel bad for those people. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's funny you said that. I was actually praying about it. I actually thought that I would love to open one up in my area. Isn't that interesting? You said that, and you just said it's the hardest thing to do. So maybe I won't.
I don't think God created you to do that. That's not your purpose, Debbie.
Well, I wanted to kind of make it at a coffee shop too. Wouldn't that be cool? So people could come and because I don't know if were we together in Utah, or was I with somebody else on radio? We were in Utah, and there's a bookstore there that has a bookstore and a coffee shop together. It's just brilliant. Catholic bookstore. Yeah.
If I opened up a store like that, I would definitely have, at the very least, coffee, maybe even snacks or pastries or something. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. I love it. Well, okay, folks, well, we want to hear from you. So here's the number. This is your show. You heard from us. Now we want to hear from you. 833-288-3986. And look who gets our First Up Award. It's a virtual award. It's going to Maria in Greenville, South Carolina, listening on Catholic radio in South Carolina. First-time caller. Hi, Maria. Welcome.
Hello. How are you? I love your show. Whenever I'm driving, I am listening. And I am very faithful to God. Yeah.
Good.
Beautiful.
Tell us about your passion and where you think that fits into your life.
Well, right now, I told my story. Somebody scanned me over the internet. And I'm not getting off that easy. I'm trying to counsel the person to get off of the wrong track. And I've been on it for a while. And somehow, through God, I'm trying to heal him. And I don't know where I got that, but I was born with it. And the other thing is, I was talking to someone who's twice a year we bake a lot from our church, and they get to a prison. And I was talking to a person who is connected with them, and I asked him if I can go in and counsel someone. I'm not a counselor. I work with hospice, and I had to learn all how we can counsel very sick patients, dying patients, trying to make them come back on the right track before they die. And everybody loved my work. Now, I like to do this with prisoners. A lot of young women who somehow got in prison and getting their punishment from God or life, because God loves all of us. So I like to go in and counsel them and talk to them, because I grew up with lots of love. My parents and my family, I am from overseas, I'm Hungarian, and we have, my whole family surrounds me with love. So I like to transfer that to somebody else.
Right. Well, Maria, you've mentioned a lot of things there. The baking, I think you mentioned, and visiting, I think you said young female inmates in prison. And I can tell you, I have not done that a lot. I have visited actually people that I was pen pals with, and actually even a good friend of mine was falsely accused of something very serious and spent nearly 7 years in prison, so I went to visit him. But I know a lot of prison chaplains and lay people as well who go to prisons to visit the men and the women. And I'll tell you, Maria and Debbie, you know this too. So many of them have such a heart for God. It's a penitentiary. It comes from penance, rehabilitation. And sure, a lot of them just go in there and they are hardened, and they if they get out, they're probably going to end up back in there again. The recidivism is very bad. But Debbie, you and I know how beautiful it is to see a soul who has had to endure the shame. Let's face it, it's a shame for a lot of people to be put into prison, but they are humbled by it, and they accept God, and they just become some of the best Christian citizens I've known.
Yeah, and Maria, I just love your call. First of all, thank you for the kind words. You're named after the Blessed Mother, and look at that. You have that heart, that mothering heart. I love that. I love that about you. You can definitely tell you lead with your heart, you lead with your soul, you care about other individuals. God bless you in the work that you do as you touch other souls and get them closer to God. I just think it's a wonderful thing, Maria. Thank you for taking the time and calling in and sharing with us, because when we hear about what others are doing as they connect with other souls, it inspires many people to jump in and say, I want to be like Maria. And that's what I was thinking as you were talking, Maria. And thank you. And now you're no longer a first-time caller, Maria. So when you call back, we'd love to hear your voice.
Thanks, Maria, for the call. We may have to do a show on how much your area has been infiltrated by marijuana, because our friend Jane, who is in Massachusetts, she says, I smell it in Massachusetts too, right after I pass the billboard on Route 91 North. And then she says, "Hi, Jerry and Debbie. I think my purpose in life is to bring my community back around to the logic of a situation, problem, or conversation, and also to be the memory in my neighborhood, family, and in my department at the library. For example, why was this person hired? After 2 years, I'm the only person who remembers our strategic plan as it is applied to employing this person, though I'm not on either of those committees." And then she says, "Living in the moment is important, but we should do it with the intelligence and memory that God has blessed us with, not living in a fog in our own heads. Thanks for letting me vent. God bless Jane." And she adds this for you, Debbie. She says, "P.S. Coffee shop and a library or bookstore and a fireplace too."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to have a fireplace.
We're building the perfect bookstore
Yes.
with our listeners' help today. So.
Yep. And I already have the name for it, Jane. I'll share that with you later. But we've got other friends weighing in. Gigi from New Jersey and others saying, "I was in the insurance industry. I was in the hospitality industry as well, Debbie. And, it was great work. You can meet a lot of people, but not really overly fulfilling and so true. I mean, it just happens because you get caught up in the work and it's hard to put your ministry hat on. Okay, let's hear what Steve has to say. Steve is in Warren, Pennsylvania, listening on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Steve. Welcome.
Oh, thank you for taking my call and thank you for your service.
Thank you, Steve.
Two things. One, very quickly, every time I see a priest or a nun, I always thank them for their service.
Beautiful.
I'm not calling in to get any special recognition, but the Lord sent me to, of all cities, Las Vegas, Nevada. My wife and I found a home there 4 years ago. We were looking for a place to do a semi-retirement, and we found a place, and we found a nice church to go to. And Easter Sunday 4 years ago, we came out of Mass and kind of got lost downtown, and we found a park. In a park, there were many lonely and homeless people laying on the ground and laying on benches, and it was a hot day, and we looked at a couple of them that looked right into our eyes as we stopped for a red light, and their lips were I don't know, bubbly and just not doing well. People were very sick out there. So we went home and we decided, gee, maybe we could get some water and bring them out to them. So we did that, and then from that time on, we started with water. Then we went to water and bags of food, 14 items in each bag. And then from the 14 items of food, we went to clothing, shoes, socks, pants, shirts, winter hats, blankets. And then from there, we went to toiletries, toothbrush, toothpaste in a bag, foot powder, facial cream, lip balm, shampoo. We started buying that stuff. And then from there, I asked the Lord, just, what more could I do? And he said to me one day, he said, "How about some holy cards?" So I went and bought 2 big packs of holy cards, and I started to put them in the bags. And usually I would put them in with the candy part of the bag, where I'd have a Tootsie Roll and 3 little candy bars, and I would put them in there. And some of the people would ask me, what kind of holy card did you give me? Well, I only had 2 kinds, so I would rotate. But I've actually had some people not want the food and want the holy cards.
Oh.
So I would get the people, and they would line up behind my car, and they would form a straight line, very orderly. And one of the most important things I would do as my wife would serve the food is I would go down the line and hug people and shake their hand and ask them, what do you need for next week? And they might say, I need a pair of jeans or a pair of sneakers. And I would mentally remember it till I get back to my home, and I would go to a mission and pick up what people needed. My only problem is the lines are getting pretty long now, so we had to cut from 8 items down from 12, 14 items down to 8 items. So, and we meet people from all over the country. I've offered to give young kids money to get on a bus. I said, I'd give you bus money. I'll give you bus money to get out of here. I'll give you food to get out of here. You want to make a phone call for home. And we see some pretty bad things, but I'm only, one little guy, and I'm going to keep going as long as my money holds out, and it has. The Lord's been good to me and my wife, so I don't want any really recognition. I'm trying to tell people maybe in their city they could do things, and one of the little things I do is when we do run out of food, I keep a box of breakfast bars in my side pocket where I drive, and $10 McDonald's cards. So if I run out, I've always got something to give.
Right.
And they can use the McDonald's cards. It's better than nothing. And
absolutely.
I tell you, the feeling I get from that whole thing is I can't explain it. More joy and love in my life right now as an old man doing this than hitting a home run or bowling 300 or anything. I can't put it next to anything that fills my heart with the fire of the Lord for what he's done for me and for those people that need help.
Wow. Steve, I have to tell you, first of all, you don't sound like an old man. I thought you were, you have a very youthful voice, so keep that voice.
Well, people semi-retire young these days, Deb.
Yeah, that's true. So, Steve, you're treating those fine folks with dignity and respect, and we are going to pray that the blessings flow. I want to share something. When I worked for Catholic radio in the Southwest, one of my areas was Las Vegas. And a lot of people will say, oh, how did you deal with Las Vegas, Sin City? Well, you're referring to this one part of Las Vegas that is downtown, and it is where the casinos are, okay? But the truth of it is, and Steve, hold on, you hear that music. I want to talk a little bit about Vegas because I think I might have a suggestion for you to expand your ministry or at least keep it going. And when we come back, let's talk more with Steve in Warren, Pennsylvania, talking about ministry today, your purpose in life on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Teresa Tomeo.
It's our goal to help each and every listener take this beautiful faith of ours out into the public square with great ideas on making a difference through engaging the culture.
The leading Catholic voices are on EWTN Radio.
We know you like listening to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio, but have you thought about bringing them to your next event? No matter what type of event you're hosting, parish mission, conference, or retreat, trust Jerry and Debbie to make it come alive. Begin the process today of taking your presentation to the next level of success. For information on booking Jerry and Debbie, visit take2show.com, click on the J&D logo.
This is Kevin Burke of Priests for Life with Pro-Life Update. The Lord has knit each of us together in our mother's womb and has given to mothers a profound vocation. Each year we celebrate Mother's Day, and we invite you to join in a novena leading up to that day. The novena prayer, found at prayercampaign.org, points to Mary as the model of all mothers and prays that mothers will realize the greatness of their vocation and have the strength to live it without fear. In particular, we should pray for mothers who are tempted to abort their children and for those who have done so in the past. They need strength, healing, and consolation. May Mother's Day bring a blessing to every mother and help us all to be for each of them a sign of God's love. This is Kevin Burke on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
Monday on More to Life, the life you were meant to live.
We'll look at how the theology of the body can help you live a more abundant life. That's Monday on More to Life, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central on EWTN Radio.
Now, back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Great to have you with us, because if you're not with us, there's no show. There's no Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, because you are the ones who make the show. You drive it with your life experiences, your takes, your insights, your wisdom, your advice. That's how we all learn from each other. 833-288-3986 if you'd like to be on board, talking today about how do you pick your purpose in life. Do you feel like you're in what God created you to do? Or maybe you're still kind of wondering about that. It could be a job. It doesn't have to be ministry. It could be. So we're talking with you about that today at 833-288-3986. So Eric and Patricia and the others, hold on. We're going to continue with Steve in Warren, Pennsylvania. Deb, take it.
Well, I was just sharing, Steve. So before the break, I was just sharing that my when I was working for Catholic Radio in the Southwest, my territory was Las Vegas, and a lot of people thought it was very difficult. And obviously, around maybe the casino areas, it can be very difficult. But I will tell you, Las Vegas has incredible Catholic parishes that are very vibrant. A lot of great ministry work. They love Catholic Radio. They are so wanting to help the community. The neighborhoods all joined together. So, Steve, I I know you've probably done this, okay? But I just wanted to encourage you, go to the local parishes and also to the local McDonald's and stuff like that, and ask if people will donate, if people will join you in this mission, in this ministry. I know you probably have done that already, Steve, but I just want to encourage you, because I'll tell you what, you got a lot of generous parishes in Las Vegas, a lot. Have you done that already? I presume you have.
No, I have not asked for anything from anyone except Lowe's Corporation. I've gone over there and they've given me plastic bags, but I have had some great neighbors that have found out what I'm doing, and they've dropped off clothes and items that they don't use anymore. So the Lord has blessed me. I have enough money to keep this thing going. I'll be fine. I have plenty to offer, and I was called many years ago to help the poor, and I always have, but not with this magnitude. So I'm blessed, and I love it. So I'm going to just keep going. If I have to cut back, I will, but they're going to still get some things from me. So it'll be fine.
Good deal.
We'll be okay.
Awesome,
I'll
Steve.
take you up on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. And by the way, I know I have a very good friend named Steve who lives in Las Vegas, very connected with the parishes and the priests. So, Steve, if you want me to see if we can connect the two of you, maybe we can do that. You can just email us at take2@EWTN.com if you feel like it. It sounds like you got a really good handle on what you're doing there, though, Steve. So thank you so much. 833-288-3986. Patricia, you're right after Eric, so hang on. Eric is in Detroit, Michigan, listening to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on Sirius XM 130. A first-time caller. Hi, Eric.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great. Better now that you called, sir.
Well, thank you. I'm on the road traveling, but I definitely want to serve the Lord and put in a little bit of encouragement here. What I want to say is I'm older, in my 50s. I've done several different careers. I did give my life to the Lord. When I did, everything changed. And he started moving me from career to career. In those careers, there were people that needed ministry. They needed to hear the encouragement that there's a better way to live than following the things in this world and the choices, that a lot of us have made and people are making now. It seems like even more and more. But nonetheless, in each one of these careers, there were people that God wanted to minister to, and there were people there that helped me and ministered to me. I found that when I follow that peace and stay strong and confident that God is going to work something good out of each situation, it ends up in a very good, very wonderful way. I mean, I have gone at times where I lost income and things were rough, but then there were times where the income increased. The more I focused on the kingdom of God and following Jesus, the more satisfaction and actually the better I did at the jobs. When I got sidetracked and focused on wealth, riches, the things of the world, then it got a little bit more difficult.
Wow. Great. I know we both said it at the same time.
Go ahead, Debbie.
Eric, you know what? I think you just expressed that so eloquently, and it's so true. And you know what? Here's the thing, folks. This is not saying that, of course, we need people out there to be teachers and nurses and doctors and plumbers and electricians. Of course, we have to keep functioning. But it is very true that when we incorporate God in and we stay focused, on that, we can bring that into our daily life and our work. We can bring it into our homes if we're stay-at-home moms or homeschoolers. And then also, too, if we decide to go full-time into ministry, I think that was a good confirmation, Eric, or I should say even affirmation, that, God will provide. He makes a way because, of course, what's the goal? We're trying to get to heaven, right? We're trying to get as many souls to heaven. And God is going to, in some way, continue that on and bless that. I mean, look at what's happening with Steve and serving the poor in Las Vegas area. I mean, that's huge. And folks are lining up. So this isn't something like Steve's got to go out there and say, hey, does anybody want this holy card? People are lining up. So, Eric, I just wanted to say, Thank you for expressing it so well. We need to hear it on a regular basis because I think life is moving so fast. We get lost and we're on this treadmill of life and these to-do lists that we're all trying to master and we never do. So I think that's good to hear. Did I kind of grasp what you were saying, Eric, or is there anything else you'd love to add?
You did. The only thing I want to say is, in all those situations, it was a training period for myself also. And you've just helped me with another direction because there is a time to go into full-time ministry. I do believe it is about that time for me. So thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
I do have to go.
Wow.
Okay. Coming on a photography job right now.
Wow. Okay, so I need to share something. If you are planning on going into full-time ministry, Eric, please make sure you enlist your guardian angel and all of these saints that you can that are your go-to saints, because I will tell you, when you launch into full-time ministry, there's a period there, a little tiny period where you feel like you're not sure, a little bit of resistance, things may not be going well. It is kind of the strangest thing. And then all of a sudden, the good Lord just kind of, thrusts you to the next level. Would you agree with that, Jerry? It's kind of very interesting.
Yeah, and that period of those challenges that come along, it may be initially, and then the Lord kind of launches you, like Debbie said, but they may come back around. I think it's important to say that, Debbie and I have been in ministry for a very, very long time. I would say probably between the two of us, close to 75 years, Eric. And so just be ready for that. That's all. But yeah, if God's calling you to work in the vineyard in any way, that is so exciting. And I'm glad that what Debbie said was helpful in helping you maybe move in that direction. What do you think?
Very much. Thank you, guys. God's love to you. I got to go. Bye.
All right, thanks, Eric. God bless.
Thanks, Eric. I love that. Oh, I love our Take Two family.
I do too. People call when they've got just a couple minutes and they're getting somewhere, and I got to go.
I know,
but they still make their beautiful point. All right, we're going to get to Patricia. Patricia, I just have an email for Steve. If you're still listening, Steve, Emma sent an email to take2@EWTN.com. Dear Jerry and Debbie, thank you for the show! 3 exclamation marks. My heart was so moved by Steve's story. Please tell him that I have already started praying for him. You just did, Emma. Thank you. She says, what love? That's Christ's love. We all need to be more like him. That's from Emma to Steve. Hope you're still listening, Steve. Thank you, Emma.
Wow, that is beautiful. Okay, we got other folks weighing in. Michael, by the way, Michael's at the controls today, and Ryan is answering phones, and Michael was just saying, too, it's important, too, and I love that, Michael, that you just shared this, to spend time in front of the Blessed Sacrament, because when you're in front of the Blessed Sacrament, let the good Lord speak to you on your direction in life, your purpose in life. And let me share something with you, too, folks. It doesn't have to be just one area. Some people say, well, I'm really good at music, so I must be in the music ministry. Okay, it can evolve. It can flow into other areas as well. So be open to that. The good Lord, and he has a way of stretching you and making you do things that you never thought you could do. But then it's very, very fulfilling. So I love that advice that Michael, our producer for today, added about spending time in front of the Blessed Sacrament.
Okay, join us in our conversation about finding our purpose in life. How do you go about figuring out what it is that you were created to do? And maybe you found that. Perhaps you feel like you're just not quite yet fulfilled, and you want to talk about that. 833-288-3986. Okay, Patricia, we're going to give you our Patience Award today in Findlay, Ohio, listening to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on St. Gabriel Radio, and another first-time caller. Hi, Patricia. Welcome.
Hi. My voice
Hello.
is a little raspy.
Oh, we can hear you just fine.
Me?
Yeah, we can very well. Thank you.
Well, God has always been with me in my ministries, in my church, and in my community. All the years that I've lived here in this town of Findlay, Ohio. And we have a wonderful parish and great priests and a lot of good people that do good things. But I'm a widow now, and for 3 years, and I'm trying to get myself feeling better physically and mentally, and I reached that point, but now I seem to be going backwards again, mentally, spiritually, and physically. And so I know there's ups and downs with this stuff, with grief, but I've always been able to listen to God and know that He's there for me. But right now, I don't feel like I'm listening to him. He's trying to help me, but I'm not sure what it is that he's trying to tell me. And so some days I just stay there and home and think, well, okay, this is all I'm going to do. I'm just not going to do anything. I'm just going to spend time here with God, and maybe he'll help me today in what I need to do.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Patricia. Were you going to add something to that?
I don't know what it was. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say, Debbie can speak to this far better than I can, but the thought that comes to my mind, Patricia and Debbie, is that our purpose in life is probably somewhat fluid. And by that I mean, when we're younger, our purpose might be something different than what it is when we're in college, and that might be something different than when we work in a career, do ministry, or what have you. And so, Patricia, maybe your purpose right now is something different. Maybe it's shifting a little bit. And I just love the fact, Debbie, that she said she's waiting for God. She's trying to listen to God. You've done that all your life, Patricia, it sounds like, and I have to be sure that God has had you do many amazing and very fulfilling things in your life. So I just applaud you on that. And so many people say, Debbie, spiritual leaders will say, if you don't hear from God yet, just wait. Just wait, just be right where you are, do what you're doing, and then wait for the Lord to redirect you if that is His will. So,
right.
And I don't know if any of that makes sense, but
absolutely. Patricia, may I just ask a couple things? Is there? I'm so sorry for your loss of your husband. Can you share with us his first name? Because we keep a book for all the living and deceased. Do you feel comfortable sharing his first name?
Yes, his name is Edward.
Edward. Oh, that's my dad's middle name. I love that name. Edward's a great name.
I do too.
Yeah, it's a beautiful name. Okay, so Patricia, I'm not a counselor or a therapist or anything, but my heart just breaks for you because you can hear that you're still. It sounds like you really are still missing Edward. It really does. And
yes, I am.
I know. I hear it. And can I make a suggestion? Okay, are you Catholic? You're Catholic?
I am cradle Catholic.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I would suggest something. I agree with what Jerry says about just, taking that time and listening to God, and it's so very important, and the Blessed Sacrament, being in front of the Blessed Sacrament. But Patricia, consider this. Maybe sign up at your local parish or a neighboring parish for a Bible group or an adult formation class or something of that nature where you're learning something new. And why do I say that? Because I was adult formation director for many years, and I had a lot of folks your age, okay, and a lot of them had lost their spouses, and they would sign up for classes, and they got so much out of it. And they had these tremendous aha moments, Patricia, where they all of a sudden, it helped them get through the sadness and the loneliness and the grief. And all of a sudden, they started to get super hungry at their age, 70s, 80s. I had one fantastic lady. She was in her late 80s, came every single Thursday, and she used to sit in the front row and she would say, Debbie, hurry up, teach us. And I go, I can't go that fast. She wanted to know so badly everything. And it just really helped her. I don't know if you've done that already, but pray about it and think about signing up for a class or a Bible group or something just to feed you, because I think it may help you get through this of longing for and missing Edward. Have you done that already, Patricia?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you have.
No, I haven't done it for a few years. I've been away from it, because he was ill, but I was with a group, an adult Bible study group, but we've sort of drifted apart, but we're still good friends. So I may talk to them again and see what we can do, or I'll just get in with some new people.
Yeah, absolutely. Try it and then keep us posted. Please call back and let us know, because I'm telling you, you're going to feel so different in just a few months. It's amazing when learning about the Lord in a new way and exploring our God, it just changes how you see everything. So Patricia, prayers are around you. And again, we're sorry for your loss, but we have Edward in our book now. So you got the whole Take Two family praying for you as well.
Thank you, Patricia. God bless you. And Debbie, it's just wonderful. At any age, we have a purpose. God has a purpose. So as long as we have life and breath, and Patricia is still pursuing that from God. And Patricia, be assured that God is going to use you in powerful ways.
Mm-hmm.
Even you're a little bit older than, say, many of our callers, but you know what? You've done so much good in your life, and yet God has more good for you to do, and you're seeking what that is. So that's awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Patricia. Okay, we're going to go. Hold on. I just have to mention Ruth. I'll get right to you in a second. But
can you read those emails too?
Yeah. I was thinking after Ruth, we can read a couple of those. But I just wanted to mention pilgrimages because we just came out of Lent. It's a time of spiritual growth, renewal, refreshment, repentance. And now we're in the Easter season. And maybe you've gone through, maybe Lent was a little bit difficult for you, a little dry, a little dark, stuff like that. Well, if you want to really pick up, give yourself a boost spiritually, there is a possibility of going to a pilgrimage to EWTN, not only the network, but the Shrine of the Blessed Sacrament, where Mother Angelica's final resting place is. So if you're looking for a unique setting for spiritual renewal, call EWTN today, 205-271-2966, and it might be easier to go to EWTN.com/pilgrimage. So great
we
place
went
to
on
go.
That pilgrimage, and it's life-changing.
Yep.
And that'll
awesome.
catapult you to the next level of spirituality.
Will.
So can we go to Ruth?
Sure.
Okay, Ruth in East Grand Forks.
Yes, hello.
How are you on Real Presence Radio?
Hi, Ruth.
Hi, Ruth.
Hello. Thank you.
Thank you.
I felt compelled to call in this morning because I was listening to you talk about your life's work. And for me, I've worked in the operating room in surgery for 44 years, caring for people, some at their critical moments and some with a routine surgery, but always caring for them. And I just was reflecting recently that my confirmation saint was St. Catherine of Siena. And just thinking about her charism, caring for people. And then my husband and I had my mother live with us for 6 years, the last 6 years. And she recently died. She died in Holy Week and was buried in the octave of Easter. And I just had so many graces and so many things that God blessed me with during that time to realize that everything prior to that prepared me to care for her and to care for others, to be servant. And it's just such a beautiful thing when you see God hand in different aspects or different parts of your life and how He always was there. So there's sorrow, but there's great joy for her and for her eternal life. So I just felt compelled to call to say that you might think that you're just doing your job or just doing what you've chosen to do, when really God is there with you the whole time, bringing good from all that you do.
Absolutely. Ruth, you were a little bit, connection wasn't great the whole time. We heard most of it. Who did you say had passed away? I'm sorry.
My mother
Your mother.
lived with us for 6 years. Yep.
Yeah, well, God bless you for taking her in for 6 years and for the vocational work that you do as a healthcare worker. And God has very, very different ways of using us to really let us be in our calling, our vocation, our life's purpose. But it's also a great gift for other people as well. I remember my sister, who passed away about 2.5 years ago, took our mother in for several years with her husband and 2 sons until my mother was a fall risk and had to go to assisted living. But Debbie, these are the kinds of things that really they can be part of our purpose in life. Really, let's think about it. Our parents, part of their purpose is to raise us, and part of our purpose might be to assist our parents late in their lives.
Absolutely. And it's a beautiful work. You learn so much about yourself during the time, and the person that you're caring for. Ruth, question for you. Your mom's name, I have the book still out from Patricia's husband, Edward. Can I add your mom to our book?
Yes, please. It was Lois Mary.
Lois, beautiful name. That was my mother-in-law's name, first name, Lois. I love that name.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful, and you learn so much about yourself when you're being a caregiver. And I wanted to say, you being in the operating room as a healthcare worker, and I love how you were talking about the saint, your patron saint, Saint Catherine of Siena. I just love that because you're so right. And the saints are there for us, alive, fully alive, and helping us. And it's all we got to do is acknowledge them and understand their worth in our life here on earth. But I just wanted to say, you've heard me say this if you've listened to the show. I really believe those that are like nurses and doctors and healthcare workers, first responders, those that care for people, I really believe that they're going to get a super fine place in heaven. I just believe it, because there's something about your heart when you are doing everything you can to make that other person comfortable. You're doing everything you can to take away their pain. That is so Christ-like. That is so Christ-like. I just have to say thank you for taking on that beautiful work, and I'm sure that it has become such enmeshed as a vocation for you. It's part of you. It sounds like, Ruth.
And I will just say that they have given me more than I have ever given them.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And it's just so true.
It is. I'll just make this brief, but part of my 6 years in seminary was spending a summer in a hospital as a clinical pastoral education student, and I was on an oncology wing, and I did get more out of that than I'm certain that I got more from them than I gave to them. But also I'm an assistant hospital chaplain right now at a hospital nearby, and every day I come out of there and I just go, Lord, wow, thank you for those lives, and thank you for the ways that you used me to bless them, but also how they blessed me. So I know what you're talking about, Ruth. Thank you very much. Clyde, hold on. We're going to try to get to you. But Debbie, our friend Tim Mateo in Ohio, he sent an email to take2@EWTN.com. Hey, Tim. He says, this topic came up for a reason. For the longest time, especially in my early semesters at Owens Community College, I was asked twice in a humorous way, what do I want to be when I grow up? But then the reality hit me when I could not come up with an answer. I had a plan that I created and put together, see attachment, but then also I came up with something else. That was during my first year at Arizona State University, where Debbie also went. He said, I was inspired to compile the history of the Apache people and develop a curriculum for all grade levels, but teach it at the tribal college level. But right now, I'm at the point again that my path is uncertain, that maybe God has a different path for me. Thus, right now, I am at the hurry up and wait stage again. Okay, that's from our friend Tim. Thank you, Tim, so much.
Thank you, Tim.
There was one other one. Maybe we can
Sure.
just offer a prayer for this person, anonymous, just the initial B. Says, just asking for your prayers that I can find my purpose. I have absorbed a lot of changes, some of them very painful in this past year, and I'm at a point of transition in my life. I wonder if there's a new path I'm supposed to take, or if I should simply keep doing what I've been doing for my family. So let's pray for initial B.
And in front of the Blessed Sacrament, initial B, and in front of the Blessed Sacrament, and ask your guardian angel to help you. Remember, they're there, Psalm 91, to guard and guide. Guard and guide. Remember that. Clyde in Odessa, Texas, on Guadalupe Radio Network. First-time caller. We don't have much time. I think we only have like 60 seconds, Clyde, but we wanted to get you on.
I know you're up against a hard break. I'll make this quick. For many years, I wanted to be a big shot. And I wanted my rock to make a great boulder to make great ripples. But I realized even small pebbles send ripples all the way across the lake. But over the years, I realized that God wants us to develop eyes for service. We serve Him by serving others, whether it's little tiny things or great things. He wants us to develop eyes for service. That's how we serve Him.
Debbie?
Wow. I was just soaking it all in. That was excellent.
I know. It is.
Thanks, Clyde.
Well, yeah, Clyde, thanks. I wish we had more time to comment on that, but I love your focus, Clyde, and your passion.
And how direct he is.
Direct, yeah, very direct. That focused, purpose in life. Thank you, Clyde, from Odessa, Texas. We appreciate that. Debbie, Elaine sent an email to take2@EWTN.com. We have a 96-year-old woman who comes every Monday night to our adult formation. Mm-hmm. She also goes with us when we go to Christian movies, talks, and trips. God bless. Have a blessed weekend, Elaine.
Yep. We have to soak in this faith until we take our very last breath here on earth. I've always said that. Adult formation is ongoing. Go ahead, Jerry. Are we good?
I wish we had time for more of your emails and social media comments. Emma, thank you. Emma, we got your email. Beatrice has, she says, I love you both. I've been praying to open a Catholic restaurant with, let me see, what does it say? With a library. So
there you go.
Maybe this will be our purpose in life, Debbie.
Right. We'll come to your restaurant. There you go. We like restaurants. Okay, so catch our best of on Saturday. On Monday, we have another live show for you. And folks, please like us on Facebook. Jerry and Debbie, find us on Facebook and like us. And then we just want to thank you so very much. Okay, now you can get started with your Cinco de Mayo celebrations, okay? Happy Cinco de Mayo to you on Sunday. God bless you. Have a beautiful, beautiful, and blessed weekend. See you real soon.
Fundamental task of marriage.
This is